This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 6 on Good Morning Indiana. It was a crime that shocked the Circle City. A man stabbed and shot to death inside an Indianapolis Kroger. What's next as the convicted killer heads back to court?
A man is searching for answers after his missing dog was found dead in an alley. Why he believes his dog was intentionally killed.
Is your Alexa being a nosy neighbor and listening to your private conversations? What the company knows about you and how you can place limits so you don't waste your money.
Plus, the local organization is working to teach adults with disabilities important job skills. Coming up in Hiring Hoosiers, I take a look at the partnerships they're creating to help others overcome obstacles in the workforce.
And the cold season has come to an end without a trip to the playoffs. We'll show you their last stand against the Jaguars as they look ahead to the new year.
And it is 6:01, our last Monday of 2019. It is December 30th. Thanks for joining us. I'm Lauren Casey.
I'm Rafael Sanchez, and our friend Meredith Barrett is taking the day off today. It is a wet and windy day. If you head outside, you can see just the flags flapping in the air. I know that I had a difficult time on I-65 this morning trying to stay in my lane, Todd Clausen, because the rain wasn't a bad situation, but it was the wind that really kept things moving.
Yeah, you know, the rain's pretty much done. There's a few rain showers out there. There'll be a few snow showers as well, but the wind will be with us throughout a good chunk of the day. So that's probably our biggest issue as you take to the roadways this morning. Here's a live look at Storm Team 6 radar, and all the steady rainfall is completely done for the entire day today, but there's still a few showers, especially one just south of Greenwood there that's getting ready to cross over Interstate 65. Then some light showers as you work your way towards Interstate 74 as it stretches into the Greenfield area down towards Fairland as well. But that's really just about it as far as the rain currently in central Indiana. Off to the west, you do notice some snow showers, and those two are going to rotate through. If you do encounter some of these snow showers, the biggest impact would be reduced visibility. We're not going to see any snow stick on the roadways. The roadways are wet in most locations. You have to remember we were in the 50s and 60s over the weekend, so the roadway temperatures are okay as far as being above freezing, so that's why we're not expecting any issues from the snow. But as far as the winds, look at these gusts right now. We're in the 30s and 40s across the area. The winds will slowly start to subside as the day goes on, but it's driving in colder temperatures. We're in the 40s and 30s right now, and we'll stay in the mid-30s here throughout the morning hours. We'll talk more about the rest of today and look ahead to your New Year's Eve forecast as well, coming up in Maine weather in just a few minutes.
And Todd, you can see here on our camera on the west side, 465 and Sam Jones Expressway. It was moving around here a little bit in the wind, so just caution, especially if you're a higher profile vehicle out there this morning. You can see traffic here on the west side is moving along up to speed on 465, both northbound and southbound. No issues to slow you down, and no issues around the metro area. Take a look at our traffic now map. Everything's traveling up to speed overall, and we don't have any crashes out there, so that is great news if you're heading in from the east side. From Post Road to I-65 to the North Split, no delays. It's a 10-minute commute.
We continue to follow a developing story from overnight. A home on Indy's southeast side destroyed after a possible home explosion. Fire crews were called to that home on Danube Street around 10:30 on multiple reports of a fire and a large noise. When they arrived, the home's second story was engulfed in flames. 2 adults and 2 children made it out safely. The home next door was also evacuated as a precaution. No one was hurt. Officials are still trying to figure out what started that fire. The time now is 6:04. The man who stabbed and then shot another man inside of a Southside Kroger store will learn his fate today.
Our Kelsey Anderson joining us live this morning outside of the City County building where 39-year-old Jason Cooper will later learn his fate. Kelsey, fill us in on what's going on here.
Well, good morning. So this murder, if you might remember, happened in 2017. And earlier this month, on the day that Jason Cooper was supposed to start his trial, he pleaded guilty to murder. Now, a part of that plea agreement the charges of resisting law enforcement and robbery resulting in serious bodily injury, those were dropped. Now, let me take you back to 2017 when police say the victim, 43-year-old Carlos Castro, was murdered inside the Kroger on the city's south side. According to officials, Castro was stabbed 3 times and shot twice with his own gun after he refused to give his cell phone to Cooper. Cooper then led police on a chase until he was eventually stopped after crashing into several vehicles at a dealership. Now, later this morning, Cooper will be sentenced, and he could face the death penalty, and we'll be in that courtroom this morning, and we'll bring you updates as soon as we have them both on air and online. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. The time now is 6:05. Homicide detectives are investigating after a woman was shot and killed on the northwest side. Police say that a child was with her at the time and was also injured. This all happened around 1:40 yesterday afternoon on Clarkson Drive, that's near 52nd Street and Georgetown Road. When officers arrived, they found a woman there suffering from gunshot wounds. She was taken to the hospital where she later died. That child was taken to a local hospital as well and is being treated. The extent of the child's injuries, the child's age, and relationship to that woman shot is unknown at this time.
At 6:06, let's take you to Bartholomew County. A 5-year-old boy has died after a dirt bike crash in Columbus. This happening over the weekend. According to the Department of Natural Resources, it happened Saturday afternoon on West 525 South in Bartholomew County. Officials say the boy was riding the bike on family property when he attempted to ride the bike up a ramp and lost control, crashing into a tree. Family members took him to the hospital where he later died. DNR officials are investigating, but they say the boy did appear to be wearing a helmet when he crashed.
It is 6:06. An Indianapolis man living on the city's southwest side is looking for answers and wants to share a warning for you after his dog went missing and then was later found dead. Randy Campbell tells RTV6 that his dog Kiba went missing on Friday, so he checked animal shelters, also posted about this on Facebook, but then he found the dog dead in an alley the very next day. The dog had multiple injuries to its front legs. Campbell shared an update on Facebook and then received a mean and hurtful message from someone he believes may have killed his dog. He says he thinks that person may try to hurt other animals.
Be aware and keep an eye on them. You know, these people like this, I mean, they target animals like that.
Well, Randy has filed a police report about this incident and is hoping the person who killed his dog will face some sort of punishment.
No child should go hungry this week. With IPS students still off on winter break this week, IPS officials are encouraging more families to participate in the district's meal services. You see, free breakfast and lunch will be offered at more than a dozen sites today, Thursday, and Friday. The program is not just for IPS students. Any child under 18 can get a meal. You can get a full list of the meal sites and times on the RTV6 app.
Well, the Colts closed out their season with a loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars on Sunday. It was the Minshew mania for the Jaguars as the rookie QB had one of the best games of the season, throwing for nearly 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Jacoby Brissett gave up 2 fumbles in the second half, giving up the game for the Colts. They lost 38-20 in the final. The Colts finished out the season 7-9, and they're now looking forward to the draft as they get ready for the next season. Still ahead, RTV6's Hiring Hoosiers is telling stories of success and people finding their place. I'll tell you how one local group is fulfilling a mission to teach adults with disabilities the skills they need for employment. Todd.
And as you walk out the door here this morning, it's a much different situation than it was when you went to bed, as temperatures were in the 50s last night. We are now falling into the 30s here across central Indiana, and we're dealing with some rain and snow showers as well. We'll talk more about your extended forecast coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on RTV6.
DisneyOnIce.com for details.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. The time right now is 6:11 on your Monday. Here's a live look at traffic to the northeast, I-465 and I-69. You can see traffic at this interchange is traveling up to speed in all directions. No crashes or issues out there at this hour to slow you down.
So for the past year, Hiring Hoosiers has been connecting you to jobs, resources, and training. And one group is really helping adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities overcome obstacles in the workplace.
That's right. You can see here I traveled up to Zionsville to learn more about a job training initiative. And it's a story that I think will warm your heart. It may even inspire you to get involved in their mission.
Well, we're right now painting the curves, as you can see.
These workers may look like they're with the town of Zionsville.
Oh, it feels amazing. Yes, I've been making good friends.
But Alex Gillihan is part of a nonprofit corporation called Watch Us Farm. And while today they aren't on the farm, that is part of what they do to get work ready.
I've been planting fruits and vegetables. I've been going to the trails, painting.
Busy summer.
Yeah.
We don't take money for this. My husband and I do this because this is what we want to do, and I want people to have jobs.
Janice Agarwal is the executive director, and this is her vision. After spending time living in Europe, she saw how community farms help to teach adults with intellectual disabilities skills for the workforce.
It gives quality of life. It gives a community something to support. There are lots of volunteers, and it changes their lives. It changes lives. So when you start seeing this all over the world, I wanted it here.
Watch This Farm provides basic jobs and training for adults with disabilities who are high functioning and can work, but they may need a little bit of help.
Sometimes they can be totally independent, but they may need you to come in and check on them. So we want to be that safety net for them.
Janice and her staff break down the tasks step by step.
And then we kind of figure out what they can and can't do and how they learn.
Take pictures and document the steps.
Someone asked me, could they do this job? I now know how I can break it down, and I can start learning how to place kids.
Right now, they're partnering with the town of Zionsville to do this work on the streets. The town gives them the supplies.
They work hard. They'll do the same thing every single day for 10 years, and they'll be fine with that. You know, they just don't do change that well.
Workers like Alex get paid for his hard work, and he gets some help from volunteers who become his friends. And his message for you as he picks up his paintbrush:
I would love to get more friends out here.
So how can we make this job training successful for adults with disabilities? Well, Janice tells me that she needs people like you. Not only are they partnering with places like Zionsville and Carmel, but they also want to work with local businesses. They always need volunteers to work alongside these adult workers, and they also need donations and community support. They have big plans for the future for their farm and also the workers. So to learn more about Watch This Farm and to find out how you or your company can get involved, we posted all this information for you in this story on our website, hiringhoosiers.com. All you have to do is click on the link. There you can also find the contact information if you or someone you know would benefit from job training that they have to offer.
It is time to check your forecast, and based on Todd Clausen's amazing graphics, and the guy does a lot of great work, right? You can see what we're talking about. It is breezy in central Indiana today, so be mindful of that. Wet and windy.
Yeah, you know, I think the thing you'll notice the most as you walk out the door, as you mentioned, Raphael, the wind. It's really kicked up here throughout the overnight hours, and also the temperatures. So while the flags will be extended like this for a good portion of the day today, unfortunately, we won't have the sunshine like this graphic has. But I just wanted to emphasize here that we'll be dealing with these gusty winds throughout a good chunk of the day today. We've probably peaked the wind gusts when the front came through. We were up in that 40 to 45 mile per hour range, but you can still see it's pretty gusty with wind gusts at 25 in Bloomington, 35 in Muncie, 31 at the top of the hour here at 6 o'clock in Indianapolis. The good news is most of the rain has come to an end as far as the steady rain goes. We're still dealing with some scattered showers across the area. You notice this one here right along I-74 as you work your way out of Marion County, eventually down into Shelby County. A few spotty showers now flaring up on the western portion of the state. And then you get to Illinois and into northwest Indiana, and you notice that we're dealing with some snow showers mixing in. So as this colder air is coming in, we're mixing some of the rain showers with snow showers. If you do see some snow showers, especially north of Interstate 70, we are not expecting any accumulation. That is the good news. Here's the steady rain that continues to work its way through Michigan. But just don't be shocked if you see a few flakes here during the course of the morning hours. This TrueCast will show you. Once we get to about the noon hour, I think most of the snow shower activity has probably come to an end across the area. Yeah, there could be a few flurries throughout the afternoon hours, but it's more just a cloudy afternoon for us with breezy conditions and temperatures that are going to hold pretty steady throughout the course of the afternoon and evening. We're at 38 degrees right now. The sustained winds are 18, but again, gusting close to 30 here this morning, and the temperatures continue to fall. Few 40s still on the eastern side of the state. Otherwise, most of us falling into the 30s, and that's where we're going to stay throughout much of the day. And you notice these wind chill values in the 20s in many locations. And as we look at wind chill values throughout the day today on our graph here, you notice they'll hold pretty steady, but we're going to stay between about 20 and 30 degrees. So you definitely need to have the heavier jacket throughout the day today, as these temperatures will remain pretty chilly for us. But when I mentioned chilly, we're actually still above normal. The normal high is right around 35, 36 degrees this time of year. So as you plan out your day, we are just looking at quiet conditions as far as precipitation goes this afternoon. Just don't bank on much of anything in the way of sunshine in this forecast. Now tomorrow, the last day of 2019, you may have New Year's Eve plans. We are looking at quiet conditions once again tomorrow, just lots of clouds. There could be a few snow showers tomorrow in northern locations with maybe a coating of snow, but that's just extreme northern Indiana. Most of us just mostly cloudy skies, and we'll ring in the new year with a temperature right around 32 degrees. New Year's Day, partly cloudy, 43. Then we're back into the 50s for Thursday and Friday, but with the warmer air, the trade-off once again will be more rain heading our way.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Here's a live look right now at your Monday morning drive on the north side, I-465 here at Ditch Road. Traffic here is traveling smoothly both eastbound and westbound on your interstate. No issues to slow you down. So let's take a look at some drive times. Planning out your commute on the west side, a 7-minute drive through Brownsburg from State Road 267 to I-465. No delays, no crashes there to slow you down.
At 6:18, here is a gross alert. And let me show you why it's going to be gross. Many of us like to eat before a long flight, right, to save cash. That's okay. So beyond the price, in-flight meals may also not be safe. Here's the gross part. In the last 4 years, FDA inspectors have found some shocking things at airline catering facilities. Things like live birds, rodent poop, fans blowing dust onto food, and refrigerator thermometers off by as much as 25 degrees. Now, what's worse is that more of this could be flying under the radar, and that's because FDA rules say the agency only has to inspect airline catering every 3 to 5 years.
Yuck. All right. Well, 2019 has capped off a tough decade for retail stores with a record number of stores closing. 75,000 jobs have been lost from the start of the year through November. Household names like Payless, Gymboree, and Sears all shutting doors to thousands of stores across the country. Experts say many retail chains like JCPenney and Pier 1 Imports have an uphill battle to fight in 2020.
We've all heard that catchy Baby Shark tune that can get stuck in your head for days and days and months, but now there's a version for Navajo children. The company Smart Study, who created the song, made the announcement yesterday after holding singing auditions on the Navajo Nation. It's now the 20th language that Baby Shark will be sung in. The Navajo Nation Museum made the request back in September. The museum has also been successful in getting Navajo versions of Star Wars and Finding Nemo. Sometimes it seems like Amazon knows more about us than we know about ourselves. Coming up, is the retailer really listening in to your conversation? And how can you limit their knowledge?
And in the downtown area, traffic is traveling smoothly here. Here's a live picture of I-65 and I-70. This is from the South Split, where traffic is picking up on your Monday morning. It's 6:20. We'll be right back after this short break. Stick around.
Stay only at Ashley Home Store. This is home.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana, 6:23 here on your Monday, and we're keeping a close eye on traffic. Good morning to you in Fishers. This is I-69 near 106th Street. Traffic's moving along just fine northbound and southbound. Pretty quiet so far for your morning commute. No crashes to report out there on the roads.
So the message this morning in the trending at 6 is that you have to watch your pets.
Okay.
Okay, it doesn't matter how slow-moving or how fast-moving your pet may be, watch your pets. Because you see, firefighters in England had to battle a house fire after it was started by a tortoise.
Okay.
You see, on Christmas Day, fire crews were called to a home in Dutton Hill, Essex. 45-year-old Victor the tortoise was the only one at home at the time, and officials say that Victor knocked over a heat lamp onto his bedding, which caught on fire. The fire was put out quickly, and Victor was not hurt.
Oh, Victor. All right. I'm glad he's okay, though. He's probably pretty old. A couple in North Carolina is creating an Airbnb to rule them all. They're building a Hobbit hole home based on the ones in The Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit books and movies. The 800-square-foot, one-bed, one-bath home is mostly underground. It also has the Hobbit's hole's signature round wood door. The building is expected to be ready in 2 months. The couple's not decided how much they will charge yet.
Finally, an Airbnb for short people.
You would like that. No,
I would
I'm
love
just
that.
kidding.
Yeah, I would love it. I'd wonder
Looks a
how
little
Todd-
claustrophic.
Yeah, I
but...
wonder how Todd Clawson would fit in there, but we'll ask him.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a touching moment for a Buffalo Bills linebacker when his daughter surprised him by singing the national anthem at his last home game. Afterwards, Lorenzo Alexander and his daughter Zoe gave each other, as you can see here shortly, a big hug. Alexander says he plans to retire after this season, so it was his final home game of his career. He's also a 2019 Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee. Best luck to him, and what a touching moment.
What a great surprise.
Dad and daughter. Wow, love that stuff.
Yeah. All right, well, something else we've been loving is the weather out there. Todd, it has been so warm for this time of year. We're heading into the new year, but you say things are going to change.
They've already changed here across the area. That cold front came through. I noticed a big gust of wind at my house. That was the actual front coming through, and ever since then, temperatures have been falling. So when you went to bed last night, temperatures were still in the mid-50s. As you get out and about this morning, we are in the 30s, and temperatures are going to hold pretty steady here throughout the morning hours, as you see here with cloudy skies out there for a good chunk of the day today. There could be some 40s down to the south, but the wind, it's dying down a little bit, but wind chill values still throughout much of the day today will only be in the 20s, so make sure you bundle up and don't be shocked if you see a few rain and or snow showers here this morning. The good news is if you do see some snow showers, it is not going to stick on the roadways. We should be in pretty good shape as far as that, but make sure you grab the heavier coat. You'll need it this morning as you walk out the door.
Todd, thank you so much. Now, this is a little creepy. Ever wonder how Amazon seems to know your every possible interest, even if it's something you've never ordered before? They seem to know about it like that.
Yeah, even if you'd never say it out loud,
Weird.
It's like they know, I feel like. Well, working for you, our John Matarese looks into what Amazon knows about you so you don't waste your money.
Many people have been wondering for years if their phone is listening to them. They'll talk about shoes, and shoes pop up on all their feeds. So how does Amazon seem to know every interest you have? Tawana Wilson received an Amazon Echo Dot as a gift from her husband a few months ago.
I just can't bring myself to do it yet.
But the Echo still sits in its original box.
I'm not ready for it.
Like so many people, Tawana suspects Amazon knows too much about her, such as after she had a conversation with a friend about Paris.
The next day, I had a targeted ad for booking flights to Paris.
The fears make perfect sense, according to cybersecurity consultant Dave Hatter. Many Prime members, he says, use Amazon for shopping, watching movies, reading books, listening to music, and monitoring their house through the Ring camera system.
They own Kindle. You know what books you bought. They own Whole Foods. They own Ring, the Internet of Things doorbell, the Amazon Fire tablet. You couple all of these things together, and suddenly they now have an enormous view into pretty much everything you're doing online.
So what can you do to limit what they know?
So there are some things you can do.
Hatter says the simplest things you can do is use a variety of electronic ecosystems, including Google and Apple, so no single system knows all your interests. Watch movies on Netflix or Apple TV instead of Amazon Prime Video. Have Alexa go into its settings and delete conversations. And turn off your phone's microphone for all but essential features. Wilson's turning off her mic, but even without an Echo Dot, she still wonders what Amazon knows about her. Do you feel they're listening to you?
It does. It absolutely does.
Amazon says its employees listen to Alexa only to improve voice recognition, and both Amazon and Facebook insist they do not listen to your conversations, though many people remain very skeptical. Working for you, I'm John Matarese. Good morning, Indiana.
It is Monday, December the 30th, and this is your 6:30 news feed. 2 people dead following a shooting at a Lafayette gas station. Officers were called to the store on reports of shots fired. When they arrived, they found a victim dead inside the station and a man with a gun outside. When officers tried to detain the suspect, gunfire was exchanged. The suspect was killed. State troopers are now handling this investigation.
In southern Indiana, Scottsburg police officers facing battery charges. State troopers were called out about a report of domestic battery around noon on Sunday. After speaking with the victim and the suspect, troopers arrested 33-year-old Shane Gibson. Gibson is an officer with the Scottsburg Police Department. Investigators say that Gibson was off duty at the time of the incident. This morning, the officer faces felony domestic battery charges.
A 5-year-old boy has died following a dirt bike crash in Columbus. Conservation officers say the crash happened Saturday afternoon on West 525 South in Bartholomew County. Officials say the boy was riding the bike on family property when he attempted to ride the bike up a ramp and lost control, crashing into a tree. Officials say the boy did appear to be wearing a helmet when he crashed.
This morning, we expect to learn who will be the next person to lead the Beech Grove Police Department. RTV6 has learned that a new chief is an internal candidate. The mayor says he'll make that announcement at 10 o'clock this morning. Now, earlier this month, you may remember we learned that Chief Mark Schwartz is retiring at the start of the new year after serving 8 years as chief.
And Indiana University testing license plate reading cameras for parking enforcement on the Bloomington campus. The year-long project is aimed at figuring out how to best implement the new parking system. The campus is switching from parking placards to a system using registered license plates. License plate readers are already used for parking enforcement at other universities, including Purdue.
And it is 6:30. We want to thank you for waking up early and starting your work week with us here on Good Morning Indiana.
I'm Rafael Sanchez, Lauren Casey, Meredith Barrick is on vacation. Todd Clausen is never off. And the vacation, right?
Well,
he's
sometimes.
like, I'd take some vacation.
Wait till the end of the week.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a tease.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, it was a decent weekend here. It was not the brightest weekend. It was mild, and then we had some rain off and on. But now things are changing a little bit as we start off your Monday. In the last few days of 2019 here is going to be a little bit different than what we saw from Christmas until yesterday. As you walk out the door this morning, you'll need to have your jacket once again. So the temperatures have dropped from where they were last night to this morning. I didn't check the umbrella. The steady rainfall has come to an end. There'll be a few rain and or snow showers out here, but they're very spotty. They're very light and they're scattered across the area. So I really don't think you need to carry the umbrella around all day long here just because of a few scattered rain and snow showers this morning. The further north you are, the better chance of seeing a few snowflakes. If you do see some snowflakes, we are not expecting any accumulation. So that is the good news. So as you rise and shine after what's been a long stretch of some days off for many of you probably, temperatures are in the 30s here this morning with the skies that'll be mostly cloudy, and eventually high temperatures today only get back up into the mid to upper 30s. We've already hit our actual high temperature for the day today, so that is a thing of the past. We'll rebound into the mid 30s, but with the windy conditions out there, the 30s going to feel more like the 20s. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We are keeping a close eye on traffic as you're heading out the door. Starting your Monday, here's a look from our live drive vehicle. Photographer Shay Goodpaster in the driver's seat here, and this is a dash cam view of traffic on the west side. This is what you'll see on northbound I-465 near Washington Street. You can see the windshield wipers going just a little bit still this morning. Everything is traveling up to speed. We'll continue to keep a close eye out for any crashes or delays as we get closer to rush hour, and of course, we'll keep you updated.
So this was a story that rattled the Circle City. A man stabbed another man to death inside a Southside grocery store and then shot him.
Yeah, and this morning, 39-year-old Jason Cooper is going to learn how long he'll spend in jail. Our Kelsey Anderson joining us live downtown with more on Cooper's plea agreement. Kelsey, good morning. Catch us up on this case.
Good morning. Yeah, so this again happened in 2017, and then earlier this month, on the day that Jason Cooper was set to begin his trial, he pleaded guilty to murder. So in that plea agreement, though, the charges of resisting law enforcement and robbery resulting in serious bodily injury were dropped. Now, let me take you back to 2017 when police say the victim, 43-year-old Carlos Castro, was murdered inside the Kroger on the city's south side. According to officials, Castro was stabbed 3 times and shot twice with his own gun after he refused to give his cell phone to Cooper. Cooper then led police on a chase until he was eventually stopped after crashing into several vehicles at a dealership. Now, again, later this morning, Cooper will face his sentencing, and he could face the death penalty in this murder. We'll keep you updated. We're going to be in that courtroom this morning, so we will update you as soon as we know what happens on air and online. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
New on Good Morning Indiana, investigators are working to learn what caused a possible explosion at a home on the city's southeast side. Fire crews were called to a home on Danube Street around 10:30 last night on multiple reports of a fire and large noise being heard. When they arrived, the home's second story was engulfed in flames. 2 adults and 2 children made it out safely. The house next door was also evacuated as a precaution. Thankfully, no one was hurt.
At 6:34 this morning, we're hearing from Jewish leaders following that attack at a Hanukkah celebration north of New York City. Police say 5 people were stabbed by an intruder with a machete-type knife at a home of a rabbi on Saturday night. The suspect was arrested shortly after the incident. He was arraigned Sunday morning and is now being held on a $5 million bail. So we spoke with David Sklar, the assistant director of the Indianapolis Jewish Community Relations Council, and he says the attacks on the Jewish community are becoming an epidemic.
I don't know that it's real well known what the level of violence is right now against the Jewish community across the country. And so, I think anything that folks can do to raise that awareness and to, really at the end of the day, we just ask for folks to stand with us. We will continue to confront this hatred and anti-Semitism. And, we just look for folks, whether Jewish or not Jewish, to stand with us. And
Sklar there says that locally there's been a lot of work done on focusing on safety and security, which includes making sure facilities are secure. Staff members are up to date on lockdown drills and are ready to respond when needed. We're learning more about an officer-involved shooting. This happened on the city's south side early Saturday morning.
And Metro Police now detailing the moments that led up to that incident. Let's go down that timeline. Just before 3 in the morning, Southeast District officers were dispatched to an attempted carjacking. The victim said 2 men attempted to take his vehicle at gunpoint. The victim drove to the intersection of Wedgwood Drive and Lacey Drive to wait on officers. Then around 3:30 in the morning, the responding officers spotted 2 guys matching the suspect's description walking along Stop 11 Road. Police say one had a rifle and did not comply with officer commands to put it down. We're told as additional units responded, the officers fired their weapons at the man, hitting him and disarming him. The second person, who police say was a juvenile, complied and was taken into custody. Medics arrived and took the suspect, who was shot, to the hospital in critical condition. 2 investigations are now underway this morning, a criminal investigation and an internal affairs investigation to ensure the officers complied with department policy.
A southern Indiana community could be left without a majority of its firefighters. This morning, the increasing tension between firefighters and community leaders.
And is a trip to the trampoline park on your winter break to-do list? We're working for you this morning with the important warning that doctors want you to hear about so that you can prevent a trip to the emergency room. That story and much more coming up right here on Good Morning Indiana. Visit the Hiring Hoosiers job board. RTV6 is the only local TV station following a contract dispute that could cost a town a majority of its firefighters.
Yeah, the group representing Owen Valley's volunteer firefighters issuing a statement slamming a proposed contract. In a Facebook post, Owen Valley Volunteer Firefighter Incorporated says contract issues include, quote, firefighters can be assigned extra duties at any time without compensation, and firefighters are subject to being fired without a hearing or due process if they refuse, end quote. The group says it's lost confidence in the Fire Territory Board. You can read much more about this complicated issue by clicking on this story. It's all there for you in the RTV6 app.
A story that will continue to follow. An Arizona woman has died following a crash on I-70 in Putnam County. And this morning, her husband remains in the hospital. The crash happened early Sunday morning near Cloverdale. State police say the couple's Tesla crashed into the back of a fire truck responding to an earlier crash. 23-year-old Jenna Monet died at the hospital. Her husband, 25-year-old Derek Monet, received serious injuries. State police say drugs and alcohol are not a factor in this crash.
It is 6:40. The search for answers continues in the death of an Avon mother. We asked police if there are any updates in the Naja Farrell case. Investigators tell us that they were hoping the media coverage around Thanksgiving would lead to some new information, but they have not received a single tip since then. Farrell disappeared in March after leaving for work. In April, 2 fishermen found Farrell's foot in a northern Indiana pond.
And next on Good Morning Indiana, we're just days away from IU's first major bowl appearance in 30 years. That's right, 30 years after the break. How the Cream and Crimson are preparing for Tennessee. But first, let's check in with Todd Clausen. Hey, Todd.
As you walk out the door, Raphael, you're walking out to windy conditions. We're dealing with wind gusts anywhere from 25 to 35 miles per hour. And there's a few rain and snow showers now making their way through central Indiana. So don't be shocked if you see a few flakes. They won't amount to much of anything here throughout the day today, but it is a cooler weather pattern as we head towards the end of the year. We'll talk all about it coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast. The time now is 6:41. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
For more info, go to ChristmasNightsOfLights.com.
Well, Colts Nation is waking up disappointed after the team's lackluster performance against Jacksonville on Sunday. The team was on the road for the final game of the season. This game would not be easy for the blue and white, especially in the second half when the Colts were outscored 22-0. It's also the third game in a row without a touchdown pass from Jacoby Brissett. The team's 38-20 loss against Jags ends the team's season with a 7-9 record. The Horseshoe will have the 13th pick in April's NFL draft.
Meanwhile, the Indiana Hoosiers are waking up in Jacksonville this morning. The Cream and Crimson preparing to play the Tennessee Volunteers in the Gator Bowl. The Hoosiers ended the regular season with a double overtime win, as you may recall, against Purdue and an 8-4 record. The Volunteers come into Thursday's game 7-5 with their record. The Hoosiers have practices scheduled for today and tomorrow before the big game, which is scheduled for Thursday at 7 p.m. And by the way, it's going to be a nice, warm, toasty 76 degrees for our Hoosiers in Jacksonville. So they're going to enjoy the forecast. Though, I mean, we can't complain.
It's been pretty warm here.
Yeah,
I mean, no complaints, but Todd, you're telling us that's changing right now, actually.
It has changed. 53 degrees at the midnight hour. We're down into the mid to upper 30s now. So that cold front has made its way through central Indiana. And as a result, some of our rain showers are changing over to a few snow showers, as you see here. In and around the metro area, a few snow showers now appearing near Speedway. It's a few rain showers here as you work your way into portions of Hancock County. And these snow showers will continue to rotate through central Indiana. Obviously, a sign that the colder air has made its way into the area north of I-70. That's the best place to see some of these snow showers moving through. If you do, though, it could reduce visibility on the roadways just a little bit, but we're not talking about any accumulation here. The roadways are wet. It's been very mild across the area for the last week, so the ground temperatures are very warm, so any flakes that do hit the ground will simply just melt away here this morning, and that is the good news. The steady rain is well to our north, but it came down quite heavy throughout the overnight hours. So let me take you through a TrueCast for the rest of 2019. You notice these snow showers diminish as we get into the middle half of the day. There could be a few flurries here and there throughout the afternoon hours, but more than anything, we're just dealing with cloudy skies across the area. As we work our way into tomorrow morning, there could be a few snow showers we'll have to keep an eye on here in northern locations up towards Kokomo, Peru, maybe into the Hartford City, Marion area. That could put down maybe a quick little coating. It's just for extreme northern areas, though. Most of central Indiana tomorrow, we're just going to be dealing with cloudy skies and a few flurries as we round out 2019. Outside right now, though, 38 degrees. The winds are out of the west-southwest at 16 miles per hour, and temperatures continue to fall. Everybody was in the 50s earlier this morning, 40s and 30s across the area now. When you factor in the gusty winds, feels like it's in the 20s in some locations. So as you get up this morning and you are going to start to think about taking the dog for a walk, our featured dog of the day today is Winchester, sent in by Dawn Anderson, and she said that he's ready for some warmer temperatures. Well, we just went through those today. It's going to be pretty chilly with temperatures that will be pretty steady in the 30s. Wind chill values, though, will be in the 20s throughout the day today. For tomorrow, New Year's Eve, you'll need to bundle up. Temperatures just like today, don't do a whole lot. We're only in the 30s. And then as we start to ring in the new year tomorrow night, we're talking about temperatures that will be right around freezing with breezy conditions and mostly cloudy skies, but it should be a fairly dry day and especially evening for us across the area. It's dry on New Year's Day at 43 degrees with sunshine before we warm up, but we bring back in the wet conditions for Thursday and Friday. And then the first weekend of the new year, pretty quiet with temperatures above normal in the low to mid 40s. Lauren?
All right, Todd, here is a look right now from our live drive vehicle on the northwest side, 38th Street, traveling near Lafayette Road. You can see the windshield wipers working a little bit harder at this hour as the rain showers still coming down on that side of town. You can see traffic here is moving along smoothly on this local street. We'll continue to keep an eye out for any crashes or delays that might slow you down this Monday morning. Okay, so indoor trampoline parks, they often provide an outlet for releasing that pent-up winter energy.
But one recent study shows that an increase in their popularity increases and coincides with an uptick in trampoline-related fractures. You see, researchers say in 2008, trampoline fractures accounted for 3% of child injuries. Now, in 2017, that number nearly doubled. Experts connect the uptick in injuries to a rise in the number of indoor trampoline parks. If you allow your child to jump on a trampoline, whether at home or in a public facility, doctors say you should have ground rules in place.
A lot of injuries happen with the musculoskeletal ones. A lot of like ankle stuff, but mostly ankles are very difficult to break. What we do see is jumping, falling down funny, and breaking your fall with your hand. So we see a lot more upper extremity fractures.
The doctors say children of all ages using a trampoline should be supervised by an adult who can make sure there's a first aid available on site.
All right, well, the college admissions scandal sent shockwaves across the country, but that wasn't the only big entertainment story in 2019. We'll take a look back just after the break. Stick around.
Days from 4:30 to 7.
It is 6:52 on your Monday, and traffic is pretty quiet this morning. Here is a live look at the downtown area where everything's traveling up to speed. I-65 and I-70 at the South Split. We'll continue to keep you updated on any major delays.
From those big box office hits to celebrity scandals, it was simply a wild year in entertainment.
That's right. We're going to take a look back at some of the highs and the lows from the past 364 days. Take a listen.
It was a year of Disney domination. The mega studio, which already owned Lucasfilm, Marvel, and Pixar, completed its acquisition of 21st Century Fox. It also owned the box office, breaking its own yearly ticket sales record with more than $10 billion globally, led by Avengers Endgame, which made a worldwide record $2.8 billion. Domestically, Disney had 6 of the year's 7 top-grossing films, and that was before Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker hit theaters. Disney also started its own streaming service, Disney Plus, amassing more than 10 million subscribers within days of launch. But it wasn't the only new combatant in the streaming wars. Apple TV Plus also joined the fray, taking on more established services such as Netflix and Amazon Prime Video. 2019 did not bring George R.R. Martin's long-awaited last 2 books in his Song of Ice and Fire series, but on TV, HBO's Game of Thrones ended its 8-season run with a lot of dead characters and more than a few fan complaints.
He's the puppet master.
The Lifetime documentary Surviving R. Kelly prompted new investigations of the singer, who now faces federal charges in Illinois and New York related to sexual misconduct. He's pleaded not guilty and is being held without bond in Chicago. Also in the Windy City, actor Jussie Smollett told police 2 men attacked him, yelling racist and homophobic slurs. After investigating, police arrested Smollett, accusing him of staging the assault, though he denied that and the charges were eventually dropped. In Los Angeles, rapper and community activist Nipsey Hussle was killed outside his clothing store. We also lost filmmaker John Singleton and actor Luke Perry, both to massive strokes, both in their early 50s. 2 Hollywood actresses were among the 50-plus people charged in the college admissions scandal. Felicity Huffman pleaded guilty, admitting she paid $15,000 to boost her daughter's SAT scores and served 11 days in federal prison. Lori Loughlin and her husband deny allegations they paid $500,000 to get their daughters into the University of Southern California under false pretenses. They face up to 45 years in prison if convicted.
You're supposed to hold me down, but you're holding me back.
The year's breakout music star, Lizzo. The relentlessly positive singer, songwriter, and rapper hit #1 on the Billboard chart with her self-empowerment anthem, Truth Hurts. She brought down the house with performances from the VMAs to NPR, led the Grammy nominations, and even popped up on the big screen in Hustlers. No wonder Time magazine named her its Entertainer of the Year. Selena Gomez returned with Lose You to Love Me from her first album since 2015, when she revealed she has the autoimmune disease lupus. Lupus. And Keanu Reeves was everywhere in 2019, starring in John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum, lending his voice to Toy Story 4, popping up in the trailer for the video game Cyberpunk 2077, playing an over-the-top version of himself in Always Be My Maybe, and even showing up in the trailer for the SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run.
Hello. Call me Sage. Good name. I'm made out of sage and I am a sage. So it works out pretty well.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
All right, well, it's been a busy 2019, and it's a busy day in the forecast.
I'm looking forward to 2020, but we will deal with December the 30th first, which is wet and windy and warmer than usual for December, right?
Yeah, you know, you have to put it all in perspective. Our normal low is 21 degrees this time of year, and we've been in the 60s, and overnight lows have been in the 40s. So now that we're dipping into the 30s here today, yes, I know it's colder than it has been, but you really can't complain all that much. There'll be a few rain and snow showers here throughout the course of the morning, but overall it's just a cloudy day with temperatures that'll hold pretty steady right around 37 to 38 degrees later on this afternoon. Raphael mentioned the windy conditions that'll make it feel a little bit colder, so you definitely need to have the heavier coat. A few snow showers tomorrow, mainly in northern locations. New Year's Eve, as you ring in the new year, temperatures around freezing with quiet weather. New Year's Day, 43 degrees with lots of sunshine. Then as we work our way into Thursday and Friday, the return of the mild air back up into the 50s, but with it, some fairly wet conditions. Could see maybe another inch of rain across the area. And then the first weekend, Saturday and Sunday, partly cloudy and temperatures in the mid-40s.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. We're back here in 25 minutes into our Good Morning America with news, weather, and traffic updates.
And remember, we're always on the RTV6 app and the EDChannel.com. Enjoy the lights. We'll see you tomorrow morning.